England rewrite their own qualification history. 2-0 win over Albania, but that only tells part of the story. A perfect qualification campaign. The first time in English football history that England win 11 straight, that might be wrong, 14, straight competitive games in a row. And look, I think you look at the performances overall, you look at the clean sheet record, absolutely phenomenal on every single level. Got quite a bit to break down on this evening's show, so please like, share, and make sure you are all subscribing to the Football Terrace. Very, very important to us indeed that you get that done. And I'm just about to look at the record. I do think it is. I know that we lost to Senegal, but I now that I've said something out loud, I've got to go and check myself. But I think that is 14 competitive games on the bounce that England have now won, which just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. If you've been an England fan as long as I have, you'll know that just doesn't happen. We always find a way to mess things up. You always find a way to, concede goals or mess up games and mess up qualification. But just looking at England's fixtures, obviously we lost to Senegal, yes. This only shows this year, but yeah, 1, 2. I don't know. It doesn't show you. But yes, someone will tell me if I'm wrong in the comment section. They always do. But England finish qualifying in perfect fashion. And I think that for me is the standout element in this. The standout element in this is qualification in perfect style for England. And when you look at the group, I'm looking at it now in front of me, 8 games played, 8 wins, 22 goals scored, none conceded, 24 points. Absolutely perfect. And that's what it is. Perfect. And I think that is the most important part indeed. Senegal was a friendly, but yes, I thought, 11, sorry, I must have said it wrong. 11, it's 11 straight on the bounce, James, you are right. I said it, and then I thought, no, it was 14, and I'm like, no, it must be 11. But still, 11, whatever it is, 11 or 14, it's a record for England. Senegal was a friendly, does that count? Well, no, the record is competitive games on the bounce. England have never won 11 competitive games on the bounce. That's 8 in a row in qualifying without conceding a goal. And Albania probably gave us our toughest test today of any team during qualification. But we're perfect. And people are going to hate this. People are going to be annoyed about it. But the 100% record stays intact. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. 1 second here. Let's go update one thing. Sorry. There we go. That's updated. There. The squad depth is mad, though. Rashford looks unreal. No, he does. And look, I'm not surprised by anything that we're seeing from Marcus Rashford, by the way. He was one player that I was very sure would go on to be brilliant after leaving United. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's not a dig at Man United. I just felt that a change for Rashford would be as good as a rest. That assist from him was absolutely brilliant. Come on, the boys in green, still buzzing. USA, here we go. I was cooking dinner today because it's kind of like my last Sunday off work for about 4 months. I was cooking a slap-up roast dinner for the family, but I had the game on, and obviously my son's half Irish, and I was so desperate for him to win today for him. And that last-minute goal, I was actually in the process of getting the roasties out the oven. Thank God I just put them down as Keller had booted that ball forward. I was a couple of seconds shy of looking like Freddy Krueger, I'll tell you. But as I say, I thought that, Ireland did brilliantly. And look, they go into that. Yes, and congrats to Bruno Fernandes today as well. A hat-trick for him, his first international hat-trick, 9-1 victory. He was absolutely sublime. It still annoys me, though. Every time I watch him play attacking midfield, there's just nobody in the world as good as him in that role. There really isn't. But there we go. No, they haven't qualified. They've got to go to the playoffs, but they're in. Only the top team qualified, and they were very unlikely to qualify in a group with Portugal in it. So let's see what happens. This is back to England. 8 qualifiers, 8 wins, 22 goals, and 0 conceded. Fantastic. And this is also what happens when you hire a top-level manager. And as is said here by where's it gone? Where's a bloody comment? I hate when comments move on this and then I can't find them. There you go. Here it is from Rahman. He said, England look good, Terry, under Tuchel. I can see them shining in the World Cup. And I want to just say very quickly, we haven't won a trophy yet. Feet still firmly on the ground. I'm never an England fan who gets carried away. But I remember the media bullshit when Thomas Tuchel came in. They were moaning about it wasn't starting until the January. They were just moaning about it. They were stopping shy of saying, I don't want a crap running the nation. And we look flawless right now. Of course, the World Cup's going to have much tougher opponents. I still think we've got to go up a level. I still want to see us score more goals. But the depth is amazing. There's players like Miles Lewis-Skelly not in this squad. Bellingham's only just got back into the first team. And what a difference a year or so makes. I'm glad to see Rashford now playing well at club level. I think you need him for England. I just look at Rashford. Even if he ain't good enough to start, Rashford from the bench against tired legs with 20, 25 minutes to go, he's a danger. He's got a goal in him. He has an assist in him. So, look, overall, very, very happy to see that. Tuchel will turn us, will win us the World Cup and go unbeaten. Well, you essentially have to go unbeaten to win the World Cup. You theoretically can lose a game in the group stages, but you have to win every round. So I hope so. And I'd love it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. For me, people go, we're going to get bantered though because it's not an English manager. I look at it the other way. From a sporting perspective and maybe an historical perspective, our greatest ever rival, one of their sons, helps us win something. I don't know about you. The banter wouldn't be on England. I view it the opposite way. I'm like, yeah, one of your man helped us. Do you know what I'm saying? Think about it. That for me, it was my thoughts the whole way along on that level. Hello, Lou. Welcome back and congratulations to Ireland today. Absolutely fantastic. Good to see you back on the show and in the comments section. Brotos here says England are formidable. Fantastic. Terry, it's hotter out there too, Terry. Yeah, I mean, look, that's my biggest worry is I'd love to see the stats because I swear I read something once and I'm going to get this wrong because I'm not stating this as I know the facts, but I remember hearing a commentator talk about how rarely do the sort of Southern Hemisphere, so kind of like South Americans, like they don't win that often in the Northern Hemisphere. Equally, when it's in colder climates, but when it comes to playing in like very hot, very humid countries, rarely do the Europeans win. Even though the Spaniards and the Italians and Portuguese are like the three best nations from the Europe that play in hot weathers, because we're a winter sport. Someone might even have that passage or know what that stat is. And I think playing in the humidity and the sweltering heats in the middle of the summer in North America, that's what's going to be hard for the French, the English, the Germans going into this. And I think it does give an advantage to the South Americans who grow up playing in even warmer climates, if we're being honest. But there's definitely a stat around on that. Definitely a stat. I remember reading on it. Now, it isn't 100%, but it's very heavily weighed in that regard. By the way, it could have ended up being rugby. It might be a rugby stat. It might be some of the Northern Hemisphere wherever the World Cup's being played. It might be that, to be honest with you. But I know there's a sport where it's come out. And if it isn't football, then fair enough. Terry, would you have Palmer starting in the 11? Yes, in the 10. That's it. He can't start on the right. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why now. Why he can't start on the right. England deserve to win today. There is no doubt. Albania gave us the biggest test we've had the whole group stage. But we have deserved to win every single game so far during qualifying. We've deserved to win every game. 22 goals scored, 0 goals conceded, unbeaten in 11 competitive matches, best record in our nation's history, best consecutive clean sheet record in our nation's history. And I I see a lot of people asking, where does Palmer fit in when he's fit? And for me, it can only be the 10 position because Bukayo Saka's got the right wing locked down. Today, Harry Kane gets the goals, and we're going to touch on Harry Kane because it's very important to, because I've got a theory. And maybe I'm walking something back I said last summer, but I'm going to tell you why. But when Bukayo Saka came on, England went up a gear. Whether people like hearing this or not, whether they want to cry about it, whether they want to attack Arsenal over it, whether they want to slag me off over it, I personally don't care. Bukayo Saka is our most important player. When he came on, I didn't actually think his final touch today was brilliant, and I would criticize that. He had a shot that I think he got nowhere near enough power and accuracy with. He then runs through onto goal and he squares it into the middle. He's unselfish when he really should let it drop and shoot. He almost sets up a brilliant chance for Phil Foden, and a last-ditch attempt stopped it. And it was his corner, ironically, beautifully, wonderfully, because of the set-piece issues that's been debated this year. His cross into the box that led to the flick on, of course, by the Albanian defender, and Harry Kane opens the scoring. We saw in the previous match how important Bukayo Saka is to us. And I'm not saying there are not other players that are important, but I'm talking, and some will argue, no, Terry, the midfield is the most important part of a football pitch. And I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying in terms of an individual, irrespective of their role, a talisman, a leader, somebody that changes the pace of a game, it is Bukayo Saka. So for me, when I get asked that question, where does Palmer fit in? I'm more than happy for Palmer to start as a 10. I love Cole Palmer. I think he's fantastic. I'm a fan of Bowen. Madueke is obviously out injured. Whether he gets back into this squad now after the sort of performances from others and the re-emergence of Rashford, time will tell. But Bukayo Saka starts on the right-hand side. For me, that is nailed on. That is a certainty. Saka's our most important player. He's special. I think he's got the ability to be clutch in him. He's done it before. I think he can do it again. I think he will do it at this World Cup as well, especially if Arsenal go on to win major trophies. But when it comes to that question about Palmer, I see it more as the 10. Because I'm not married to any one person starting in the 10. I watched Bellingham today, and there were some brilliant moments, and then there were some really poor moments. The issue about that number 10 role is you've got Rodgers and you've got Palmer and you've got Bellingham that can all play there. Foden, who wants to play there, it's so overweighted. And I think when the squad gets picked, what has to be assessed is where else can those players play? What other roles can Bellingham do? What other roles can Foden do? What other roles can Palmer do? And I think that's why we saw Foden play in the false 10. I think there was as well as that, you saw today Wharton play. And I don't think Wharton will be a starter for England. I think he should be on the bench. I thought he was good today. I love what he does. I love how he tries to always look for a forward pass. And I'm going to say this now, and Ash is backstage as my witness. And of course, the 1,000 or so people watching are my witnesses. Wharton's eventually going to get a big move. And his strength that everybody likes will become the thing everybody moans about. He's always looking for a forward pass, which means he will lose the ball because he's trying to break lines. And we have this weird thing as football fans. When we don't have the player or he's not at an ops club, we love that. We praise him. Oh, I want it. Oh, yeah, please. Oh, yes. Then they come to your club. If the team's winning and they're doing it, you love it. If you lose some games or your team's going for a bit of turmoil, you suddenly hate the ball being lost. Rivals will jump on it and it'll become the reason that player is a bad player. But I like Wharton, but I think it's Anderson and Rice for me have got to start in that double pivot. But what you saw with Wharton today, before I go off on too much of a tangent, is him taking the corners over Declan Rice. And that, for me, I saw people, I was just, I always like to check Twitter, what people were saying about it. Why? Let's let Rice take them. You need to work on alternatives. And the reason I bring that example up is we saw Foden come in a false 9 role the other night, because I think what Tuchel doing is saying, look, I want all this talent to come, but some of these individuals have got to be multifaceted. When I went to the last World Cup, there was I met a group of people that work for Goal, as in the website Goal. And I was like, oh, hey, doing guys, I recognize a few of them from content. And I was like, what are you doing out here? Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, Everyone who works for goal is like multifaceted. So you're not just a presenter. You've got to have writing ability or editing skills or camera setup skills, whatever it may be. I don't even, camera setup skills is such a layman's term for, I don't know, a video engineer or something, right? A videographer. You've got to be multi-layered because they're not employing one person for each job. And I think England need players like that in the football team. It's okay, your main role is a 10, but can you cover on the right-hand side for when we rotate Saka? Can you go into a false 9 position if we want to take Harry Kane off? And for me, Saka starts on the right-hand side, our most important player. The other individual I wanted to mention was Harry Kane, because in the Euros in the summer, I watched him and he just looked slow off the pace. Yes, we made it to a final. And I don't actually remember how many goals he scored, if I'm being honest. He probably got a few. Someone will tell me in the comments. I forget. I can't imagine he didn't score. He must have scored. But I watched him and felt England were carrying him. I don't feel like that way. I don't feel that way as much anymore. I feel that Tuchel's come into the team and we're playing the best team and not the best players. And it's bringing something, it's covering up for Harry Kane's deficiencies as an older man now, an older man in the game. 2 goals again today. We know what kind of, listen, Haaland's getting all the plaudits in the press for his season. Harry Kane's doing almost, he must be doing almost as well. Like club and country. He's on a similar level of goal scoring. But Harry Kane has something to his game that Haaland doesn't. The hold-up play, the passing, the crossing, some of the one-touch play at the edge of the box. And if Tuchel can continue to get the best out of Kane, cover up for his aging, which happens to everybody, but the team still purrs, wow. What an opportunity. Everyone who goes to the World Cup that has somebody as prolific as Kane has got a chance of winning it. As long as your team can cover up for their deficiencies. Portugal and Ronaldo are in a very similar boat. Cristiano can still score goals, but he needs a team to cover up for his deficiencies. And that is what England will need. And Kane doesn't have many. I'm just talking about the speed and pace of the game. And it's going to, when we play the bigger nations, there's going to be a lot more speed, a lot more power around him. So Tuchel has got to get that right. At the same time, that's why I think trialing false 9, that's why I think trialing other players in positions is going to be important over the next 2 internationals. But overall, look, said it and I'll say it again. Saka came on. I think he helps change the game. Harry Kane, 2 more goals for England. I don't even know how many goals for England he's got now. It's ridiculous. I grew up with people like Michael Owen and Gary Lineker, Wayne Rooney trying to break Sir Bobby Charlton's record. And in the end, he did. Harry Kane, one of my favourite England players. Also, just like me, born in Leytonstone. Crazy, really. Him and Beckham, both from Leytonstone. What's that England goals now? 78 England goals. I don't know if they've added today's 2 goals, to be honest, because I'm on Wikipedia checking. They don't always add the goal straight away. But excuse me. 78 goals. They added today's 2 goals. I'm scrolling down. They may or may not have done. Yes, they have. 78 goals. But I remember watching Michael Owen get quite close to it and then getting the injuries. And I remember Rooney breaking it and thinking, well, no one else. And if you actually go back and remember the beginning of Harry Kane's England career, it wasn't exactly the greatest of starts. I think he had like 5 goals in his first 20 games or something like that, which is not bad, but it wasn't matching what he was doing back in 2015, 2016 with Spurs. And I also remember him not really being the main man at Euro 2026. Sturridge was starting over him, I think. Vardy was starting over him. And to go on and do what he has done since then is just amazing. That many goals. For me, 22 more to surpass 100 goals for England, he'll do it. And that probably won't be beaten in my lifetime. I'll be long since dead when that gets beaten. But yeah, fantastic from him. Fantastic from Kane. But the main player, the main person I want to thank for this qualification is Thomas Tuchel. He's getting the very best out of these players. He's getting the very best out of the squad. He has the nation believing. He has the real nation. Forget the weird flag shaggers. He has the real nation behind him, the real people behind him of this country. So good luck, England. Well done, England. And thank you to the German Tuchel that is making this all happen. By the way, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to bring on... actually, 1 second. I've got a few super chats here. Sorry, Spain 2010. I don't know what you mean by that. Palmer, where was the World Cup in 2010? Oh, that was in Brazil. Good shout. There we go. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I just think it's massively weighed the other way around. I remember, I'll find the stat at some point and go back through it. Palmer, Jude, or Rodgers for the 10. I'd go Palmer. I would still go Palmer personally. All of them. I would still go Palmer. And I love Jude Bellingham, but my gut just goes straight to Palmer. And I'm just going to go with my gut on that one. Brazilian Esteval versus England Saka. I had a whole debate about this. Esteval's amazing, but I would be picking Saka purely based on the longevity element in the comparison of the two. If you ask me who I'm going to sign, well, for my club, I'm going with the guy that I've seen deliver year in, year out for the past 3, 4, 5 years, rather than the guy that looks like he might go and do that, even though there might be more potential in Esteval. In terms of the World Cup coming up, listen, I love Saka. I love England. But I'm not betting against a young teenage Brazilian at a World Cup. Fuck off. Why would I do that? Like, I just wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't ever do it. And would I be shocked if Esteval has... And listen, I'm not going to put this pressure on the young man, but would I be shocked if he went to the World Cup and had a Pele moment? Would I be shocked if he went and did... He'd be older than him, but if he went and did what Yamal did at the Euros last summer... No, I wouldn't. He's that talented. Patrick here, who is, of course, Irish, says, Terry Ireland, what a result. Best result I've ever seen. A miracle in Budapest, and why it's why we love the game. Come on, you boys in green. And I will say this, right? I'm going to throw some shade here to all of Standards FC. Imagine the Irish not celebrating that goal because it didn't win them the World Cup. In fact, imagine them not celebrating that goal because it didn't qualify them for the World Cup. It's got them into the ability, into the position to qualify for the World Cup. And that moment must be celebrated. And I'm telling you now, as someone who spent a lot of time with the Irish, I spent a lot of time in Ireland still. Wow, what a night that's going to be in Budapest tonight. That is going to be, there's going to be a lot of lost passports, a lot of headaches, a lot of people phoning in sick tomorrow. I can tell you that much, Patrick, my old mate. Germany's first Euros to win outside of Europe in Brazil. Oh, there we go. There we go. And obviously Spain obviously won in 2010, didn't they, in South Africa? That's where it was. I was thinking 2010 was South Africa, with Brazil. It isn't. So if Spain did it first, no, Spain did it in South Africa, cool, and then Germany did it 4 years later. But if that's the only 2 times it's happened, well, that's the point. That must have been the stat that I heard. That still means that rarely do European teams win in the Southern Hemisphere or in those climates that are just so different to Europe. And equally, we play football in the winter. So even though Spain's very hot and Portugal's very hot and England twice a year is hot, it's different. We play our football predominantly for those cold months. We do. There we go. Cannot wait to watch this team in Euro 2026. Yeah, USA 2026. Yeah, me too. I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited about watching this. I'm very hot. I bet you are. I bet you are, Twisted. You're just the way you are. You just always seem to be a hot person, hot to touch. By the way, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please, people, get that done for us. Get it hit, get it liked, get yourself subscribing. Very, very important to the channel that you do it. I'm going to bring out Ash in just a few moments to come on and have his say with us on the show. It'd be very nice to hear from him. My earphones are there. I don't even need them on because I can do it this way around. I'm just checking one thing. Cool. So I'm just setting up a redirect for my mate Mo. And I do struggle to talk while I'm doing things because I am a man and multitasking is not one of my strengths. Why can't I find him? Why can't I find the channel? Why can't I find it, Mo? Oh, I know why I can't find it. Because I've copied the link, but I didn't press copy the link. I just like highlighted it and pressed copy. And I had the time you sent it to me in the link as well. So YouTube, the search is going, doesn't exist, bruv. There we go. Done it now. That's done, Mo. That's done. It's going to redirect you to Mo's account to go watch him. Right. Ash is joining me on the show. Let me just make sure I can move my screen over correctly. So I'm moving first. I'm moving. I'm leaving on a jet plane. Right, Ash. All right, Ashley. You've muted yourself, me old mate.
I have done as well. Do you know what? I am very happy. Thomas Tuchel is doing wonders. And I tell you what, Elliot Anderson is actually the engine of our team. Like things he does. I'm going to tell you this, right? Adam Wharton was on the pitch for 75 minutes. Elliot Anderson was on 15 to 20 minutes. Guess who had the most touches?
Sorry,
Elliot Anderson. So
compared to
Adam
who?
Wharton to Adam Wharton. So he had more touches in 15 to 20 minutes than Adam Wharton did for 75 minutes. He's unbelievable. Like, I've actually been looking through some of his stats that he's done this qualifying, right? Accurate long balls, Anderson has had 3.8 per game. The next person in England is Reece James with 2.3. Like, he's nearly doubled the second person in the whole of the England squad for accurate long balls. Like, he's just unbelievable. And I would say, because Thomas Tuchel basically said previously that we couldn't do this sort of diamond shape where we had Foden and Bellingham in the team. But what Anderson's done, he's allowed that to happen. Like, he's kind of been this like pivotal point that he's just controlled the entirety of the midfield when he's on, and then Foden's dropped back. Like, I'm so unhappy that he's not for Newcastle right now, and wherever he goes, he's just going to kick on and do this. And I think going forward, he's going to be a massive point to be the England squad. Like, and the thing that I love about him so much is wherever he goes on the pitch, every single player wants to give him the ball, and that, as a football fan, tells me everything. If every single player with the quality of like Phil Foden or that wants to give him the ball, you quite clearly know that you can do wonders with it. And yeah, I'm just. I'll just see the comment. Lee said, "I'm dressed as the Irish flag."
No, look, I don't disagree. I love what Anderson does. I didn't realize he touched the ball that much in that period of time. In comparison to Wharton, that's just ridiculous. I didn't notice it. But do you know what's funny when you say that? I remember watching football when I was really young as a kid. Sunday league, it was like kids football with my dad. We were watching my brother play, and there was a kid that played in my brother's team. He actually went on to be a pro footballer. His name was Paul Hayes. He played at sort of championship level for Scunthorpe. And he became a striker, but he was playing in midfield at Sunday league level. My dad just kept on making all these footballing noises, going, oh, like this. And I'm looking at him. I was young. I was like, Dad, you're right. I thought he was having a turn. He went, he's brilliant. And being a kid, you view football. That's why I get annoyed at adults that are only impressed by the sort of the obvious things like a screamer, a crunching tackle, a step over, a Rabona. I sort of look at it and there was more to the game than that. And it was, so what? He goes, it's the way he looks like, my dad gave me, he said all these little things, but he said one thing that always stood out to me. I was so young when he said it, but I've never forgot it. And it was, top class players look like they have more time on the ball than everybody else. And it's because of their positional awareness, it's their touch. Sometimes it's just knocking the ball off, running half a yard, receiving the ball back again. And Elliot Anderson does it brilliantly. And the issue with an Elliot Anderson is that there isn't much that he does that is wow. So unless you're watching him, you might not notice him. And I'm going to give this analogy because it's, I've had a couple of wines on a Sunday, but the thing I put most effort onto when I cook my Sunday dinner and I make it all from scratch is the gravy. And the gravy on your roast dinner is more important than the potatoes and the meat, the whole lot. You can't be putting basic bisto over immense food. It ruins it. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And it's like having a Coke Zero with a McDonald's. It just, no, I'm joking, right? But you know what I mean? There's no point, is there? Like, there is no point. If you're going to, do you know what I really find weird, right? Maybe it's the teeth. But there's a mother and father that I don't give my children fizzy drinks yet. But they pack their kids full of sweets, which I don't judge any other parent. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. So let me be very careful. And I'm going completely off on a tangent here because it comes into my head. I mean, I've never seen children eat so many sweets, but they're their children, and I don't tell them anything. But one of their kids asked if they could have a fizzy drink. And they went, no, it's full of sugar, right? After they'd eaten 4 bags of Haribo. It just made me laugh, right? Again, I don't judge other parents because that's not what I do. But I was just like, what? You know, it's like, you can't have McDonald's, it's full of fat. What we're going to have instead? I don't know, fish and chips. You know what I mean? I love stuff like that. I love that kind of irony. But no, with Elliot Anderson, as you say, it's one of these things where he's so good. Unless you look for it, you might not always notice it. And I really hope Man United buy him. I really hope we go and get him. Because one thing I will say is this, right? He ain't going back to you fuckers.
I know. He probably won't. Well, my worry is we end up selling Sandro Tonali and Elliot Anderson goes somewhere else. And to be fair, we'll have Lewis Miley as our kind of like person who comes in there. And he's sensational as well. Hey, listen, he is. He's very good. He's not as good as Elliot Anderson and Sandro Tonali, but yeah, I think that the biggest credit I can give to Elliot Anderson, Rice, Wharton all came off, and he basically had to do the position of Rice and Wharton, and it, if anything, we look better. I know, granted, you can probably use maybe there was some tired legs and stuff from Albania, but I don't know. I think it's, for me, Elliot Anderson is just like the key in this team, and I think if he's fit and he can kick on. Bear in mind, he only turned 23 like just over a week ago, which is crazy. Like, he's so young. And yeah, like someone said before in the comments that Elliot Anderson is looking to be like Michael Carrick. And I think that is a great analogy to use, because whenever you think about the Man United back in the day then, over 10 years ago, 20 years ago, people don't really talk about Michael Carrick because he's not this flashy player and stuff. But I know a lot of Man United players will say he was like the linchpin and the main part of that team. And I can see that with people like Elliot Anderson, just because they don't do the flashy goals and stuff like that. Whereas
Michael Carrick, in my opinion, Ash, is the most underrated footballer in Premier League football history. And if England's golden generation, if the managers of that time would have used their brains and done what Tuchel is doing, which is pick the best team and not the best players, if we'd have built the team around him with maybe Lampard and Gerrard either side, if they'd have built the team around Michael Carrick, England would have won something with the talent we had at that particular time. And not because Michael Carrick did all the things that Gerrard's and Rooney's and Lampard's did with the goals, but it was the way he knitted the entire team together, and Anderson knits the team together. That's also why what I would really like to see, and I know it won't happen because Declan Rice is also very important to us. There's something about Wharton and Anderson together I love the sound of, because Wharton isn't the same type of midfielder as Anderson, which is why the touches thing doesn't bother me. He probably, Roy Keane said at halftime, probably needs to demand the ball a little bit more. But Wharton, for me, I think he's going to become the kind of player that an Anderson feeds into, who then tries to break lines. I kind of, if you look at it as in a basic function, that's what they're both going to do, because he gets such a high level of key passes and chance creations and line breaking passes in comparison to others. But Anderson's just the all round game. Anderson, for me, can just do everything. And what I love about Elliot Anderson, massively love about him, is a year ago, nobody was talking about him. A year ago, nobody was saying, oh, I'd love him at my club. Newcastle fans, maybe the diehards that know, were moaning, but it wasn't as though it was a running theme online that you were gutted that he was gone. It was, oh, that's annoying, but you all got on with your lives. What I mean is, you know, like how Dalman's and Waneri were being discussed by Arsenal fans even before their debuts. Man United had it with Mainu. We were telling everyone, you wait to see this Mainu kid come through. We were doing it with Pogba a decade ago. You know, Liverpool all summer, Rio's coming. I didn't really hear that from Newcastle, but it's what I love about football. Sometimes you look at it and go, who can we buy? Who's coming through? There's always new players. There's always a conveyor belt, and I'm really, really excited. Really exciting. Comments like this frustrate me, though. Terry, Michael Carrick was average. Look, bro, Michael Carrick was a linchpin in the Man United midfield for a decade and went from 2007 until the end of Fergie's career. Sorry, 2006 until 2000. No, I'm a liar. Yeah, no, summer of 2006 until Fergie retired. And yes, he had periods where he was out of the team. Yes, he didn't start every big game, but no player did at Man United. And it's you know what I find really interesting about this? Just like with Man City. Even Man City, there's a couple of players that start every game under Pep. But if you look over his almost 10 years at the club, there's been loads of times where important players have kind of been rotated in and rotated out, or maybe not been depending on what's going on. That just happens. That's what happens with squad football. But Michael Carrick was there, by and large, every single week for the most successful team in that period. And that's why it annoyed me. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying that just because you're a team winning, you should be part of the England team. Because I think sometimes players at smaller clubs get overlooked because of players that are at bigger clubs. But Michael Carrick, I think Michael Carrick's issue is that he was playing in England. I think if Michael Carrick had been the only nation, if it would have been he wouldn't have played, would have been Spain because they had Busquets. But if it had played from nearly any other, if it had been any other nationality, he'd have been lauded on an international level. So to say he's average, I think is an absolutely crazy take personally.
Yeah, well, I think if he was in teams nowadays, I think people would have different outputs. People always seem to forget. Like, you've got to remember, you go back 10 to 20 years ago, people do seem to forget about some of the players and how they were, especially when they're not these massive linchpins and mavericks in the team. Like, when you look back at, like, say, the Liverpool, you'd be thinking about Salah, Mane, even Bobby Firmino. Like, you don't think about necessarily how, like, say, James Milner, Jordan Henderson, like how these players dictated the ball and how they were. So it's just the way it goes. But at the moment, it's what Anderson's doing for club and country level. It's unbelievable. It's like the other day when we looked through all the stats of potentially who could go to, like, say, Man United, with obviously the Gomez link, and it was like Elliot Anderson was literally like ahead on every single point in the graph, and it was like a perfect star it made because he just excels in everything. Like, there's not one thing that you can look at and be like, what he does is a long ball player, but he doesn't do that. He does like everything, and it's a player that if he carries on the trajectory that he's on at the moment, I mean, we're going to have an unbelievable player for whoever's club he gets in the country. And
I agree. And I was looking at it on Data MB, and Wharton surpasses him on key passes, but not by much. But this is Elliot Anderson this season across Europe it's at least 65% percentile and above in every single metric across Europe. It's just the all-round game. It's crazy. Yeah. It really, really is.
That's why I'm so worried if he goes to Man United, because I think the wonders that he could do for even you guys. I think, like, imagine, like, say Bruno, how he's been today. He got his hat trick, might end up making him push further up in the pitch. It's
one of those things that we're not going to. I'm not going to turn this into a Man United conversation, but I look at it and think, I wonder what this United team could do with a couple of midfielders of Elliot Anderson's level, how much better we would be. Twisted Bubba here actually asked me a question and said, where has it gone?
Was it Anderson, Wharton, or Belieber?
Or Belieber. My answer is yes, please.
All three.
Give me all three, and we're laughing. But it's actually crazy when I think back to, like, how good the last great Man United team was 2008. When I think back to our main three midfielders, or Michael Carrick, Paul Scholes, and Hargreaves, and we had backups of the likes of Anderson. That was his first year in England. He was very, very good. You had young Darren Gibson on the bench, who, again, just a good player, not a well beater. And there might have been someone else we had at that point who I'm forgetting about. But that's why when I think about it, as much as some people go, no way you can have a midfield like that. Well, we did for 20 years. We had a midfield of that level. And now that most teams play with 2 to 3 midfielders, that's what we've got to aim for. Like, that's what Man United have got to aim for.
Yeah.
Man United have got to aim to have a midfield where you've got that kind of quality in abundance. And but there we go. I'm not going to turn it into a Man United scream. Harry Kane scored 2 goals versus Albania, Terry. Yeah, I watched the game.
To be fair, Albania was playing quite well. Like,
they're a decent team.
Yeah, like Harry Kane is just scoring against everyone at the moment. Like, he's unbelievable. Obviously, there's people going to be talking about Erling Haaland, which I think there's a right to talk about Erling Haaland being better than Kane just because of the age difference. Sort of Harry Kane, you would think, is coming to the end of his career, but he just doesn't seem to stop scoring. He's like Cristiano Ronaldo in that sense. So, Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. There is something a stat that I really liked about what Thomas Tuchel's done. We had nearly 75% possession across the entirety of the qualifiers. That to me is crazy. And over 60% of the passing was in the other half. I'm like, that is exactly what I want from country level. Like if we don't manage to win the World Cup or whatever, just stuff like that, we can just say like how much we've improved as an international team. So it stands us in a good place for World Cup, to be fair.
So I'm looking at who scored here, right? I'm going to get who scored to run the numbers for me because I can't be bothered to sit here and add them all. I'm going to run it through the AI on on X, right? Add the games and goals up. So what this is showing is all the goals scored from March's qualifiers, March's football matches for I know that includes the Club World Cup, and games. So that it includes all of Haaland's goals for club from the country from June. And then Harry Kane's, and then we're going to do exactly the same for Harry Kane's. Actually, it also includes, it's the same for both of them, the March internationals as well, but no club football, no like league football is included, but it's identical for both of them, right? Why is it still it's so slow? And do the same.
It is crazy though. They're both just.
I just want to put the numbers. Yeah, I mean the numbers look absolutely crazy for both of them. But yeah, But it also goes to show as well. They both score goals wherever they are. But it just goes to show as well. It just goes to show now how sort of. I'm not even going to say important. It just goes to show like how much. I said it for years about Harry Kane. I wish he'd left Spurs earlier and gone to an elite team. Because I look at it and think if he'd have drawn one of the best teams in the world earlier, it would have been ridiculous.
Everyone always said that if he finished his career at Spurs and just got like say the most goals in the Premier League and didn't win anything, would he regret it? Would there be if you looked back on him, would you think his career wasn't as good? I could potentially see that. So I've always been under that sort of mindset as well, that I was like, he should have potentially gone to like Bayern or even Man United or someone else to be able to kick on to win some more trophies. But obviously he's done that with Bayern now, and he's looking unbelievable. And they're one of the favourites for winning the Champions League this season. So,
I agree. And I've always felt with Kane. I like Kane, and it was never a dig at Tottenham. It was just I felt that he had to go somewhere else. This AI thing's not working. So Erling Haaland in that time. So he's played. I'm going to add the games up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 games have been played for club and country since March last year. That excludes all the European and Premier League and FA Cup games from the March international break onwards. It's just the way who scored shows it. But for Harry Kane, it's probably also going to be 30 games because they played the Club World Cup. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. They've both played 30 games in that time. That shows their last 30 games for club and country. Kane has got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34 goals he has scored in that time. Haaland has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. 37 goals in that time. Just phenomenal. Absolutely.
They're both just disgusting, man.
It's both are just on an absolute another level, but I also say that I know that everybody wants their strikers to be that good. Yeah. But it's also why I implore people they are not the barometer, they are not the standard, they are the exception. They are the they're not quite on alien levels of Ronaldo and Messi at their peak, but they're just that exception. And I don't know why who scored don't include the league games from there, but you click on like Erling Haaland's match history, it gives you their last 30 games. That's what they're showing. And it's crazy. Assist-wise, Haaland has 1, 2, 3, 4 assists. Harry Kane has 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually surprised he only has 4 assists, Harry Kane. That seems really low for Harry Kane, but both have got 4 assists as well. So the numbers are so close. It's unbelievable, and should both be in the running for the Ballon d'Or for this season. Yeah. Like in terms of early running for it, we're only in November. Their names have got to be there.
I mean, they have to be just for what they've both been doing this season. Like they're both getting probably more goals in games at the moment. So I would say they have to be, and it's going to be an interesting one. I say that, but we'll get to the Ballon d'Or, and like last time, flipping Haaland finished like 27th or something. So I ain't got a flipping clue.
We know what goes into it. It's what they win.
Yeah, especially international
stuff.
Kane
both keep scoring like this, but don't win anything. They won't win it. But if, for instance, Bayern Munich win the Bundesliga, win the Champions League, and England win the World Cup, and he scores in the entirety of the team, club and country, scores 50 goals, he probably will win the Ballon d'Or. That being said, if he scores 70 goals and wins nothing, he won't get it. But but the Ballon d'Or is kind of funny, actually. How I always find this interesting. The Ballon d'Or uses now anyway the trophies you win as a barometer. The trophies you help your team win as a barometer for who should win it. Yet when I turn around and go, I prefer this player because he was instrumental in winning 10 league titles versus this person who won none, people get told, no, go with the Ballon d'Or votes. I'm like, yeah, but even when you get nominated for the Ballon d'Or, it's about the trophies you've won. So yeah, it's kind of interesting in that part from my point of view. But England did well. England qualify. Ash, listen, I want to thank you, mate, for coming on and joining us this evening for this show. Viewers, we're back tomorrow with some more content for you. We'll be looking at I know there's still a few more internationals to go, but it will now start. We'll start the build up for the Premier League return. Will come back. And this, I know there was football today, but it's the last kind of free. I look at it as the last free weekend until March now. It's football, people. So enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Make sure you get across to the Footy Judge Mo's channel. This is going to redirect you there. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you soon. Peace.